32. And we're going to hear two different segments of the story. So we're going to hear verses 9 through 13, and then we're going to jump ahead to verse 22 and listen all the way through verse 30. I think we get hymnals or Bibles? Hymnals? Perfect. Awesome. So I will invite you to listen, since we don't have it up on the screen, to the Word of God. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, return to your country and to your kindred, and I will do you good. I am not worthy of the least of all the steadfast love and all the faithfulness that you have shown to your servant. For with only my staff I crossed this Jordan, and now I have become two companies. Deliver me, please, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I am afraid of him. He may come and kill us all, the mothers with the children even. Yet you have said, I will surely do you good, and make your offspring as the sand of the sea, which cannot be counted because of their number. So he spent that night there. And then jumping ahead to verse 22. The same night he got up and took his 2 wives and his 2 maids and his 11 children and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream, and likewise everything that he had. Jacob was left alone. And a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he struck him on the hip socket. And Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Then he said, let me go, for the day is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. So he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. And the man said, you shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. For you have striven with God and with humans and have prevailed. Then God asked him, Jacob asked him, please tell me your name. But he said, why is it that you ask my name? And there he blessed him. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, for I have seen God face to face, and yet my life is preserved. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. A name change can do a person good, depending on the circumstances. For instance, if a person were born with a relatively common name, like Karen Johnson, they might live a typical average life. But if Karen Johnson were to change her name to Whoopi Goldberg, she might just be destined for stardom. Goldberg is not alone in changing her name to try to give herself a leg up in Hollywood. Norma Jean Mortensen became Marilyn Monroe. Mark Sinclair Vincent became Vin Diesel. Annika Tanya Mirage changed her name to Nicki Minaj. There's something to be said for adopting a new name to buy yourself just a little more star power. Or maybe a casting director suggests a name change to give them a chance in Hollywood, something glitzier that will help them succeed. There are also times when a name change is a result of trying to save your reputation. A handful of corporations have changed their names in the wake of scandal. A little rebranding can help the public forget about mistakes that have been made. For example, Philip Morris changed its name to Altria in In the wake of lawsuits after their tobacco industry sort of imploded, ValueJet Airlines changed to AirTran after a series of deadly crashes nearly wiped out their company. And Kentucky Fried Chicken, the fast food restaurant, changed their name officially to KFC. They wanted to eliminate that word fried from their title because they didn't want people to think their food was unhealthy. That one cracks me up. In these instances, the companies chose to change their own name to create this new image for themselves, putting away the wrongdoing from the past or a bad reputation. But in Jacob's case, his name change was not a choice. It was given to him by this strange person that arrives in the night and picks a fight with him. In our story for this morning, we find Jacob making his way home after a long time away. Jacob had fled many years before after burning just about every bridge in his family. And the drama started before he was even born, when he was in the womb with his twin brother Esau. You'll recall he tried to grab the heel of Esau, trying to overtake him and be the firstborn. His ruthless behavior started early. Jealous of the way their father Isaac favored Esau, Jacob treated his brother with disdain. Once when Esau was near starvation, Jacob convinced his brother to give up his birthright in trading it for a bowl of stew. Later, when Isaac was near death, ready to bless his firstborn and give him the inheritance of the family, Jacob, the trickster, stole the blessing, cheating his brother out of his birthright. Esau, rightfully furious, threatens to kill Jacob, and so Isaac sends Jacob away to go live with distant relatives. There Jacob marries, he has children, and he makes a life for himself, but not a lot changes. He still takes advantage of people. He managed to cheat his uncle out of his entire fortune. More bridges burned, more of the same. Well, one day in a dream, God tells Jacob it's time to go home. Go back to Canaan, God says. It's time to reunite with that brother of yours. Jacob is, of course, terrified of seeing his brother. He's worried that he still wants to kill him. And so Jacob prays to God, giving thanks for God's mercy. And he acknowledges that he's not worthy of this mercy. But then in that next breath, he says, oh, but if you could help me with this situation with my brother, it would be really great. It seems Jacob has not changed a whole lot. He's still on the defensive. He's still assuming the world is out to get him. And here he is trying to recruit God to help him. He's still the same conniving guy he has always been. So he sends his family on ahead with all their possessions. He thinks maybe he could butter up Esau if his family goes first. Maybe he could avoid being killed that way. Jacob stays behind for one night, fearful of the next day's encounter. Well, this strange man arrives at where Jacob is camping, and he just starts a fight. It's unclear who this man is exactly. Some scholars think it's an angel. Some say it's God in the form of a human. We don't really know. The text isn't super clear. But all we know is that this strange person arrives and just picks a fight with Jacob. It's interesting that he didn't try to talk to him first. He didn't try to reason with him with a conversation. He just picks a fight off the bat. But when you think about it, maybe that's the best way to get through to Jacob, since fighting is his MO. He tends to respond with fighting, no matter the circumstance. Maybe simply talking to him would not have gotten through. So they fight all night They wrestle until daybreak. Jacob puts up a good effort. It seems it is a fair match. But the man sees that he cannot win, and so he takes a cheap shot and dislocates Jacob's hip, rendering him immobile. The man begs to be released, and Jacob, the conniving one, sees an opportunity. He still isn't sure who this man is, but it's pretty clear that he's some sort of divine messenger or divine being. And so he asks for a blessing. Jacob is never one to miss an opportunity to be blessed. First, the man asks him what his name is, and Jacob says his name. The name Jacob means heel grabber, literally in Hebrew. Also could mean supplanter. But basically it carries this negative connotation of cheat or liar. All of the things Jacob has been up until this point. His name perfectly describes who he is. When this man asks Jacob to tell him his name, the man wants to know more than just his name. He's giving Jacob an opportunity to confess. Telling this man his name, Jacob articulates all of the wrongs he has committed, the bad behavior he's carried out. Saying his own name carries with it all of the baggage from Jacob's life thus far. As Jacob speaks his own name, he is forced to look in the mirror, to recognize who he is. He's forced to admit that he has hurt his family, that he has stolen from many. As he confesses to this man and to himself, he faces his own brokenness. He's forced to admit he's not a good guy. And here we find Jacob's confession. Now, this might be a good opportunity for Jacob to be punished, to get what's coming to him. After all these years of his criminal behavior, shouldn't he be held accountable? Instead, the man gives Jacob a new name. The man tells Jacob, "Your name shall now be Israel, for you have wrestled with God, with humans, and you have prevailed." It turns out this wasn't some ordinary guy. Jacob has encountered God. Rather than condemnation, perhaps what Jacob deserved, Jacob is given a new name, a new identity. He is offered this fresh start. Jacob is given grace and mercy and a blessing. His new name, Israel, reveals what is in store for him. That his 12 sons would form the 12 tribes of Israel. God's people would abundantly fill the earth. And all this would happen through him. So Jacob, the broken, the sinful one, now known as Israel, has been redeemed. He's given this new trajectory thanks to this mysterious encounter with God. From the very start, God has been trying to reconcile with us. Ever since sin entered the world, God has attempted time and time again to make that relationship right. This moment of transformation for Jacob, now Israel, is one of those early examples. It's an example of a fallen, broken person being drawn back to God. Jacob certainly didn't deserve to be forgiven for all that he had done. He didn't earn this new name, this new identity. He was still a conniving, wicked person when God showed him mercy. But that's how it works with God. The dirtiest, most rotten of people can come before God, confess their true identity, and be forgiven. We see this happen with Jacob. We see this happen time and time again. We'll hear more stories like this fall. We see this happen today. Any person who recognizes their brokenness, anyone who names that sin and lays that baggage before God will be forgiven. Whether that person has earned the name of cheater or liar, bully or criminal, unfaithful or unworthy. Whatever that person's name or label has become, it can be laid before God. And God will take away that name, embedded with the bad, and offer a new name, enriched in good. That new name might be forgiven one, or reconciled person, or beloved child of God. We all have our broken pasts, those ugly moments in our stories. Romans reminds us that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. None of us are worthy for God's mercy. None of us are worthy of that name, beloved. And yet, God offers it. Our past doesn't have to define us, nor does it have to set our destiny. Our story can change when the grace of God enters into the picture. When we make that honest confession of who we are and allow God to give us that new name. When we encounter God and are claimed by God, our new identity sets us on a different path. One that bears the name chosen for us, beloved people of God. Thanks be to God. Amen. Our hymn of response is Sing Glory to the Name of God.